Seems like it's been a while since I've given you an update of what's going on here in the fish room. Probably hasn't, but seems that way. At any rate, let's talk about the fish that I've moved into new homes, new aquariums, and some of the equipment changes I made here in the fish room. I alluded to some of them in the final live stream of the year. I'll put a link up here to that live stream, the last live stream of 2025. And I didn't show anything. I just talked about it. So let me go ahead and show you how the fish are doing in their new homes, and also show you the equipment changes, some of the things I've added that's making life a lot easier for me and better for the fish. And stay tuned, because I'm also going to give the big fish a snack, and you'll want to see that. They eat like piranhas. All right, let's go. This teeny little sensor right here is part of an auto top-off system. It keeps the water right at the middle of the sensor, as you can see. And when the water level gets down, it pulls from a reservoir, which in this case is a bucket. I'm talking to glass cages about possibly some tanks that will replace these buckets, but for right now, these buckets are doing the job. And so it's keeping my my sump at exactly the right level. And that way it just functions better, and it safeguards the pumps so that they don't burn out from a water level that's too low. You'll notice some crushed coral down there, all part of my attempts to make the water more African cichlid friendly. The African cichlids are doing great. As you can see, there is a new heater that I added back there in the corner. That's a 1,000-watt heater from Hygger called a Black Hole. And it's got a nice little control unit on the outside. It's probably flashing when you try and film it, but it's holding the aquarium at about 78.5. The big pieces of limestone that were added are still back there, but the smaller pieces of limestone continue to be picked up and moved by the fish. They were all put in the back right corner of the aquarium. You can see some of them are actually right here behind that rock. So these fish are really into redecorating. If you've been watching some of those shorts that I put out, those short videos, I mentioned how some of these geos were pairing up and digging a pit. You can see all the substrate that was moved. So the consensus was that they were pairing up. So I put this cave in here, hoping that they would use this cave, but doesn't look like they're wanting to go in there. Meanwhile, the green tear and the electric locara continue to do a little bit of a mating dance, and that's usually around this cave right here. And what I've done is, if they do lay eggs on this cave, I'm going to go ahead and pick the cave up and put it in this little basket right here. And that way they'll hatch, and maybe I'll have some fry. Because last time the eggs got wiped out, not sure by whom. If I had to guess, I would say there's a pleco in here, probably got to them. Otherwise, the fish in here are looking good, including the starry night, which you see behind the camera hog over there is the starry night. He's become a very aggressive eater. Very cool fish. Sometimes his little dots look blue. Very pretty. So he's apparently very acclimated and liking his new home here in the 90. Here's the 55 planted community tank. Look at the pattern on this snail down here. Beautiful. But if you recall, I added some celestial Danios, little nano fish that are hanging around the top. They go after each other. They're harder on each other than any of the fish are on them. They're constantly going after, nipping and torpedoing each other. Very cute fish, though. They like hanging out at the very top. So those were added. And I added a group of Cardinal Tetras, which immediately joined the neon Tetras. Kind of hang out. They hang out near the bottom. They like to be hiding in the plants, under the crypts, under the lilies. And then, of course, I've got the addition of the double red Apisto. Who's doing very well. Seems to prefer this side of the aquarium. So they've come up, he's come to an agreement with this orange cockatoo apistogramma about who's going to be, whose territory is whose. The orange is still for sure the dominant. It was after all his to begin with. Love the way both of them are looking. This is a very relaxing aquarium for me to watch, spend time with. I'm going to get in here and trim all of this, like these dead or dying leaves. I'm going to get in here and trim all that up, clean it all up. Maybe trim back some of the longer roots on the Anubias. That'll promote more growth. The Anubias looks good there, doesn't it? Love these spiral plants. Really enjoying those. Nothing new to report necessarily with the Discus Tank. They're continuing to grow and thrive. Very interactive, great eaters. Here's the big boys in the 210 gallon. Big Oscar, the massive Vieja, albino Oscar. Beautiful Salvini. Couple chocolates. Here's the other chocolate. Let's go ahead and drop some bloodworms in there. I get the cubes to separate out before I put them in. Otherwise, the bigger fish would just gobble them up. In a couple bites, they'd all be gone. So this way, everybody gets a shot. It's a mix of bloodworms and piscine energetics. Mysis, type of like a little baby shrimp. Let's give these guys a treat. And in their case, I'm going to give them frozen krill. Seems like a lot, but they're going to have it gone in a matter of minutes. Maybe 1 minute. I love the frozen krill. Did you catch the short video I did on the redfin borlei? Check it out. Beautiful fish. Hygger Autopharynx tetrastigma, putting on great color. The deep water. Sand diver. Leucochromis noditania. Fusco. Big spot. Trout. Leucochromis spectabilis. Strigatus. Can't even move his jaw. He's got so much krill in there. What'll happen is he'll carry it around for a while, and then he'll spit it out. He'll spit out like just so that he can be able to swallow it. They're just pigs. They totally will put in their mouth more than they can handle. And then eventually give up and then spit some out. Other fish will come around, take it, or maybe steal it right from their mouth. If they've got some of it sticking out, another fish will come around and try and steal it. So there you go. You're caught up. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you'd like my best tips on fish keeping, click on this playlist up here. And here's my latest video. And down here is something YouTube thinks would be very, very good for you, selected just for you and what you have going on. And here's a place you can subscribe. If you want to subscribe, just hit me in the mug right there. All right. Thank you, my friends. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.